a thread by Carlos Osuita. As I told you, Donald Trump will be easily reelected. The economy is rebounding much faster than anyone except for Trump and I predicted. I never had any doubt. Trump does virtually everything under the radar. I was corrected yesterday. Trump, and the rest of us, have been hit with 4 catastrophes in the last 4 months. The impeachment trial, the pandemic, the closing of the economy, the attempted insurrection. What destroyed the outrageously weak George W. Bush were 2 fake catastrophes that were entirely his fault for not fighting back. No WMD in Iraq, there were. The response to Hurricane Katrina, it was fine. Broadly speaking, the most common chemical weapons and pesticides have the same composition. Iraqi artillery emplacements had empty chemical rounds and vast amounts of pesticides in 55-gallon drums. The UN says chemical weapons must be labeled as such. Since the UN wanted to discredit Bush, they didn't count the chemical weapons we found as chemical weapons. So Bush slunk away. The federal response to Katrina was the fastest, most thorough ever. It was a media construct that the response was slow. Bush slunk away. The residents of New Orleans decided to stay. They paid for their casual attitude. I saw a documentary about Coast Guard rescue helicopters. The Coast Guard rescued more people than there are in the entire branch of service. The crews came from all 50 states, so it was common for people from 4 different states to be working together without ever having met. I saw a very satisfying scene. A guardsman was lowered to a house, and the woman wanted to bring a suitcase. The guardsman told them there was no room. The family wouldn't leave unless the woman could bring her suitcase. They were very rude and entitled. The guardsman took her suitcase and threw it in the water. "There," he said, "ready to come? If not, we'll leave you." So they very sullenly allowed themselves to be rescued. Remember, don't get stuck on stupid? Here's how a rabid Trump hater, who, like Mattis and John Kelly, lie constantly about Trump. Partisan scumbags. They're like the senator who must not be named. I don't give a crap about prior service. Scumbags are scumbags. But they don't matter. Trump is a big picture guy. He avoids all traps by being able to calculate repercussions. By the time the election rolls around, the pandemic and insurrection will be a distant memory because leftists were acting in bad faith. And Trump will have made business owners whole in one way or another. And he'll be running ads. Devastating ads. Some will be censored, but Biden will be talking about things that nobody cares about as they get back to work. This is not the Reagan era. Oval Office speeches will always backfire because the press and the Democrats will find ways to twist them. Trump is the greatest psychologist ever to live, and the greatest manipulator. And I mean that in a good way. The insurrection was the greatest spasm of madness and stupidity we've ever seen. All the speeches made are speaking to the choir. Let them think they've won. I'm sticking with the real world. I have no political agenda because I'm apolitical. Look how utterly disingenuous The Rock is. Nobody's down on their knees except the cops and National Guard. Nobody's begging. Nobody's pleading. They're engaging in urban terrorism. Your fake appeal makes me laugh, Dwayne. Trump is under no obligation to address the mob. And guess what, baby cakes? As always, the blue states have the problems. It's because leftists have no morals. Stick to action comedies. All I felt watching you was amused nausea. The answer is jobs, which Trump brings. What's Trump's role in all this? You tell us he's not the chief law enforcement officer in the country, but you also demand that he do something. Are you 8 years old? Trump rightly pointed out that George Floyd should not have been killed, but it was up to Minnesota to act. He was a dirty cop who they never punished, and they're all Democrats. Not Trump's party. Vote for Democrats? Get screwed. Duh. The only thing the insurrection caused was animus, and not against Trump. Boy, you should hear blue-collar people of all races talk about the rioters. With the economic rebound and the lightning-fast rebuilding, nobody will remember this in November. Just wait until Grandpa Joe is formally chosen. Then Trump goes into action. The upright man fights back harder and more effectively than any rioter.